So when we use multiple catch statements, it's important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. This is because a catch statement that uses superclass will catch exceptions of the type plus any of its subclasses. Thus, a subclass could never be reached if it came after its superclass. Further, in Java, unreachable code is an error. Okay, so the thing is, say whenever we use multiple catch statements, so one important point we have to remember. So that important point is like, if suppose in this example they are given, say two catch statements are there, okay? So in two catch statements, in first catch statement I'm using the exception class type. That means class name is exception. And in the second catch statement, I'm using arithmetic exception. So whenever we use like this, that means multiple catch statements with that means more than one class names, exception class names. So what we have to remember is like, see, when we use multiple catch statement, it is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of the superclasses. The meaning of this is, so we have to remember this diagram for that. So let me copy this diagram. Okay. Now for this concept, so we have to remember this diagram. So the meaning of that is, see, when we are using multiple catch statement, it is important to remember that exception subclasses. So exception subclasses means what? If we look at the diagram, see, error and exception are the two subclasses of class throwable. Error and exception, subclasses of throwable. Arithmetic exception and runtime exception are the subclasses of exception. So from this diagram, we come to know. Okay. So in this case, it is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. The meaning of that is, if suppose if I am using arithmetic exception class name and exception class name, or runtime exception class name and exception class name in catch statements. Okay, in one catch statements I want to use class name exception, and in other catch statement I want to use either arithmetic exception or runtime exception. So in this example they have given arithmetic exception. Okay, if I'm using exception class name and arithmetic exception class name, so how I have to use is like exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. The meaning of this is, say whenever we are using two catch statements, so in two catch statements, if you are using exception class names, for example here arithmetic exception and exception, so arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception, right? So from the diagram it is clear, arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception. So in this case, how we have to use is, first you have to use arithmetic exception, then you have to use exception. For example, two catch statements are there. So in first catch statements you have to use arithmetic exception, in the second catch statements you have to use exception. Then it is correct. So if we do reverse, it is wrong. So this is because, see, this is because a catch statement that uses a superclass will catch exceptions of that type plus any of its superclasses. So when we are using multiple catch statements, for example, two catch statements, in two catch statements, first catch statement should contain subclass, second catch statement should contain superclass. Okay, first catch statement should contain subclass, second catch statement should contain superclass. So if we do reverse, what happens? A superclass will catch exceptions of that type plus any of its subclass. See, whenever I say superclass, see, superclass indicates like we can say like parent. Okay, if I say parent and child, so we can consider like an example of parent. So in that case, what happens? Superclass will consider the exceptions of that type plus subclass. So two types exceptions it will consider. So only we have to do subclass exception first, then superclass exception. So in this example, it is there, say class super subcatch main method. See, we will just concentrate on two catch statements. This catch statement, this catch block, and another one. So in the first catch statement, I used exception class name. Class name as exception. In the second catch statement, I used arithmetic exception. Now we will go for the diagram. So exception is the superclass. Class name exception is the superclass. Class name arithmetic exception is the subclass. So whenever we are using like this, what we have to do? So in the first catch statement, you have to use a subclass name. In the second catch statement, you have to use superclass name. So that's what they're telling. In the first catch statement, you have to use the subclass name. In the second catch statement, you have to use superclass name. So with respect to class names exception and arithmetic exception is the subclass, exception is the superclass. So what they're telling, this class name should come in the second catch statement, okay, like this, and this catch statement should, this class name should come in the first catch statement, because arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception. So subclass name should be used first, then superclass names you have to use. If we do reverse, that means if I use first superclass name, then subclass name, we will get error. This is the error. This catch is never reached because arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception. So because arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception, this catch is never reached. That means program control will not come to this catch statement at all. Already superclass we used. Exception is a superclass of arithmetic exception. See, whatever the errors caused by arithmetic exception, it will be handled by exception itself. Whatever the error caused by arithmetic exception, it is handled by exception itself, because it is a superclass. So only whenever we are using superclass and subclass should be used first, superclass should be used next. So if we use like this, that is superclass first and subclass next, then this error we will get. Error in the sense, this code will be not reached. Program control will not come to this catch statement. So only we get the error message unreachable. So when program control doesn't come to the particular lines, we can say unreachable code. So in case of C and C++ also we come across unreachable code. If I come across any programs, tomorrow I will tell you. In case of if-else statement, somewhere I got that error, unreachable code. Okay. So if I have some programs, I will tell you tomorrow. Okay. So this is in case of Java. We come across unreachable code. Okay. So explanation is there. If you try to compile the above program, you will receive an error message stating that second catch statement is unreachable because the exception has already been caught. Since arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception, the first catch statement will handle all exception-based errors, including arithmetic exception. See how it is. Because arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception. So here I can say exception is a superclass. This is the superclass, right? So superclass, what it will do is, it will handle errors of its type plus errors of the subclass. Both it will handle errors of its particular class, that is errors belonging to exception class plus errors belonging to arithmetic exception. So only program control will not come to this particular catch block. Okay. So if you try to compile your program, you will receive an error message stating that the second catch statement is unreachable because exception has already been caught. Since arithmetic exception is a subclass of exception, the first catch statement will handle all exception-based errors. So only whenever we are using multiple catch statements, one care should be taken. That is, superclass should be used next. That means first subclass name should be used, then superclass name. Okay, including arithmetic. This means that the second catch statement will never execute. To fix this problem, reverse the order of catch statement. Okay. So reverse the order of catch statement means what I have to do? Either I have to write like this. That means, see, arithmetic exception I should write here. Then, so exception class name I have to bring down. So like this I have to do it. Otherwise, sorry. Otherwise, what I should do is like this entire catch statements. So I should write it as first catch statement. So like this. Then it will be correct. So first superclass name should be there, then subclass name. Sorry, first subclass name, then superclass name. Then you will not get any error. Okay. So this is about multiple catch statement. So next we will go for nested try statements. Nested try catch statements. Okay. Okay. So after this program, we will execute both the programs in NetBeans editor. Okay. So nested try statements. The try statement can be nested. So just like if statement in case of C and C++, if condition within another if condition is called nested if statement. And even looping also. If one looping statement is present in another looping statement, then it is called as nested looping statement. Best example is for loop, nested for loop within another for loop. So that is a try statement can be inside the block of another try. So each time a try statement is entered, the context of that exception is pushed on stack. If an inner try does not have a catch handler for a particular exception, then the next try statement's catch handlers are inspected for a match. This continues until one of the catch statements succeeds or until all of the nested try statements are exhausted. If no catch statement matches, then the Java runtime system will handle the exception. See, in nested try statements, what happens? So actually, they are using the concept of stack. So stack is a data structure. Okay. I will not go in detail of this stack, but still I can explain this program for you. So let us try to understand how it works. Okay. Okay. So this is the program. Okay. First we will see. First we will look at the program, how they have written. Okay. Class instead try main method. Okay. Int a is equals to args.length. I think in one of the previous program we have come across this. So when we give command line arguments, okay, so command line arguments means like it will take the length of the arguments. So how many things we type, like strings or integer values, it will take the length of those arguments. So next, if no command line argument is present, okay, what happens? Like the following statement will generate a divide by zero error. So that means if we have not typed any command line arguments, a value will be zero here. That means arguments length will be zero. Okay, a value will be zero. So that a value will be substituted here. Int b is equals to 42 by a. A value is zero, so 42 by zero. So if 42 by zero means it is an error, right? So program control will stop here. That means system.out.println, this statement will not be executed. Okay. Next. So here I will explain that because try statement within another try statement is there. So we'll just try to understand how it works. See here. So try opening brace, some code is there, and again within that try statement is there, right? So within that some coding is there, right? So you see inner try block. So this is outer try block. Okay, try statement within another try statement. See in case if we get an error in the first try block, okay, you just see here. A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2, intentionally I have written because if I comment those two lines, A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2, the meaning of that is A value will not be equal to 1, A value will not be equal to 2. So we will assume that A value is 0. That means argument's length is 0. Okay, try to understand these three sentences. Argument's length, we will assume it as 0. So you comment A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2. Okay. So in NetBeans editor also we can execute this program that making it as comment for A equal to 1 and A equal to 2. If you make it as comment, assuming that A is equals to 0. If A is equals to 0, int B is equals to 42 by A. 42 by A means 42 by 0. So 42 by 0, any number divided by 0 is an error. Okay, any number divided by 0 is an error. Okay, so that is error at the runtime. That is during program execution, not at compile time, during program execution. So exception, that is runtime error at this line because A is equals to 0. See, when we get the error at this line, see, you just see entire try block. Okay, entire try block means till this closing brace, till closing of inner try block. All those lines will not execute. Okay, all these lines will not execute. Then what happens? Program control will look for the catch statement. Program control will look for the catch statement. So catch statement, actually it is present here. Okay, catch statement is present, but it will look at the type of the error. So what is the type of the error here? Type of the error is divide by 0 error. Int b is equals to 42 by a. 42 by a means 42 by 0. It is the divide by 0 error. But if you look at the catch statement which is present inside try block, so you just see this catch block refers to the inner try block. So clearly I have mentioned this catch block refers to the inner try block. And one more catch statement I have written, this catch block refers to the outer try block. Okay. Now when you look at the catch statement of the inner try block, so which type of errors it will handle, that we should know. So it will handle the errors which are related to array, because you see array index out of bounds exception. Okay, so it will handle the error which is related to array index out of bounds exception. Now we got the error which is related to arithmetic exception. That means divide by 0 error. So this catch block will not handle, which is present inside the try block. Okay, so this catch block will not handle. So you look at the arrow mark where I am pointing. So it is pointed to the catch block where arithmetic exception is there. So it will, program control will directly move to the catch block where arithmetic exception is there. So arithmetic exception E divide by 0 plus E. E means it will display the message. So you can look at this error output here. So this is the output we are getting. So when we assume that A value is 0. So when we assume A value is 0, we are getting this error. I hope you people are getting. So we should assume A value is 0, A is equals to 1, A is equals to 2. So three things are there here. So first time we will assume A is equals to 0. So 42 by A, 42 by 0, we will get an error. So inner catch block will not handle. So it will go to the outer catch block. Outer catch block will handle this exception, that is arithmetic exception. It will display the message divide by 0, java.lang arithmetic exception divide by 0. Okay. So this is the first case. Now coming to the second case. So we will assume A is equals to 1. So we will see what happens. If I assume A is equals to 1, meaning at least one command line argument we are giving. Okay. See, actually, when we execute this program in command line argument, like in command prompt, so no need to mention in the program A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2. See, why I have done means A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2. If I execute in NetBeans, that means if I don't give any command line arguments also, in the program only we can assume by making it as A is equals to 1, by making it as A equals to 2. If I put the comment for A is equals to 1 and A is equals to 2, the meaning of that is A is equal to 0. Okay. Now I have removed the comment for A is equals to 1. If you look at the diagram right side, that means A value is now equals to 1. Okay. If A is equals to 1, so int B is equals to 42 by A, 42 by 1. So for this line, we will not get any error. So that means that line will be executed perfectly without error. Next line also it will execute. System.out.println A is equals to A. So A equals to 1. And if you go for the inner try block, okay. So the statements present in the outer try block are executed perfectly without error. It will go for the inner try block. In inner try block, we have the statement if A is equals to 1. So condition it is there. If A is equals to 1, yes, condition is true because A value we have assumed it as 1. Okay. Next line, A is equals to A by A minus A. See, why I have written this statement is just to make an error. Intentionally, we are making it an error. That error is again arithmetic exception. So how we will come to know means just you see A is equals to A by A minus A means what? A is equals to A value is 1. 1 by 1 minus 1. Okay, 1 by 1 minus 1. So 1 by 1 minus 1 is nothing but 1 by 0. So numerator is 1, denominator is 1 minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is nothing but 0. So 1 by 0. So any number divided by 0, again divide by 0 error. So exception, that is runtime exception, runtime error, program error during program execution at this line, division by 0. So when we are getting error at this line, okay, program control should stop there. See, wherever we are getting errors, program control should stop. Even in case of compile time error also. So what happens is like there are two types. Compiler and interpreter. In case of compiler, it will show all errors at a time. Okay, in case of compiler, it will show if you are making errors in 5 different lines, it will show all at a time. But in case of interpreter, unless and until you solve the error in the first line, it will not go to the second line. So this is the difference between compiler and interpreter. Compiler will check the errors, that is whole program at a time. Interpreter will check the errors for line by line. Okay, there is a difference. So here we will consider the interpreter. So at this line we got an error. So it will not move to the next line. Program control will not move to the next line unless and until this error is solved. So this is the error during program execution. What it should happen? It should check for the catch statement. See, catch statement is present inside the try block only. Okay, catch statement is present inside the try block only. But in the try block, you see the exception type. In catch statement, you see the exception type. Exception type is array index out of bounds exception. Because this catch statement is near to this try statement, right? Inner try block, inner catch block, both are near, but also it will not handle because error what we have made is division by zero error, and inner catch block for that we have the array index out of bounds exception, so it is not matching. So exception type and the exception is not matching. Exception is division by zero, exception type is array index out of bounds exception. These two are not matching. So only the program control will come out of the inner, that is inner try and catch. You see the arrow mark, it will come out of the inner try and catch. It will go for the outer catch statement, even though it is not related to inner try, but also it will execute because whatever the exception type required by the catch, that means by the error, that is present in outside catch block. So arithmetic exception. So only the program control, again it will come to the outer catch statement. Then it will say division by zero. So you see the output division by zero, java.lang.arithmetic exception division by zero. So here in the output zero is missing. So it is by zero. Understood? So once again I'm telling, if at all if there is an error inside the that is inside try block. So we have written try inside try, right? Inside try block, whatever the catch statement present inside try block, that will not be executed because exception and exception type is not matching. Here division by zero error is there. If you look at the catch statement, array index out of bounds exception is there. So both are not matching. So it will come out of the try and catch. That is inside try and catch. It will come to the outside catch block because whatever the error we are making, for that error class name is matching. So arithmetic exception. So this statement is executed. So these are the two cases. So a is equals to 0, a is equals to 1. Now we will try to assume, that means a is equals to 2. If a is equals to 2, what happens? We will see. See, the intention of assuming a is equal to 0, a is equals to 1 and a is equals to 2 is, the thing is when we use try within a try, inside try also we have inside catch block. Whether that catch statement is executed or not, that we have to understand. Because you see in these two cases also inside catch statement is not executed. That means whatever the try statement present within another try, related to the try statement, catch statement is not executed in both the cases. Now we will assume a is equals to 2 and we will see. And now you will see. So a is not equal to 0, a is not equal to 1, a is equals to 2. I have removed the comment for a equal to 2. So if a is equals to 2 into b is equals to 42 by a. So 42 by 2. So 42 by 2 means perfectly it will execute numerator and denominator. So denominator is not 0, it will execute. So a is equals to 2. It will come inside the try. So inside inner try block. So in inner try block also condition it will check if a is equals to 1. So now a value is 2. We have assumed it as 2. So if a is equals to 1, condition is false. Because 2 equals to 1, condition is false. It will compare left hand side value, right hand side value. It will compare left hand side 2, right hand side 1, right hand side value is 1. So it is false. Now a is equals to a by a minus a. Substitute again 2 by 2 minus 2. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. If the condition is false, a is equals to a by a minus a will not execute. Okay. If the condition is true only, a equal to a by a minus a will execute. So now condition is false, right? A value is 2 and on comparing with 1. So condition is false. So we go for the next if condition. If a is equals to 2, so 2 equals to 2, condition is true. If condition is true, this statement is executed. So int C of is equals to 1, C of 10 is equals to 99. So array length is 1, but I am trying to store the value at 10th location. So I am trying to store the value at 10th location. So we will get an error. So if you are trying to store the value at 10th location, we will get an error. So this error is related to array index out of bounds. So error at this line, array index out of bounds. So we came to know that this error is related to array index out of bounds exception. So only inside inner catch block will be executed. So inner catch block refers to inner try block. Outer catch block refers to outer try block. So inner catch block will be executed because whatever the exception we are getting, that exception and exception type both are matching. So exception is related to array. Exception type also array index out of bounds exception. So this is executed. Now you look at the output. A is equals to 2, array index out of bounds exception. That is java.lang dot array index out of bounds exception 10. So the 10 means at 10th location we are trying to store, which is not possible. Okay. So once again I will tell you this third case. So assume a is equals to 2. If a is equals to 2, int b equals to 42 by a, 42 by 2, division will happen without error. So a value will be printed. It comes inside inner try block. In inner try block, first condition it will check a is equals to 1. If a equals to 1, now a value is 2 equals to 1 is false. So if the condition is false, statement present immediately after if condition will not execute. So a equal to a by a minus a will not execute. Now we come to the condition if a is equals to 2. If a equal to 2, yes, 2 equals to 2, condition is true. Inside if statement we have array c of is equals to 1, array length is 1, but we are trying to store at 10th location, which is not possible. We will get an error, and that error is related to array. So it will be handled by the catch statement where we have array index out of bounds exception 10. So this catch statement will handle this error. Okay, so we are getting this output array index out of bounds java.lang dot array index out of bounds exception. So once inner catch block is executed, outer catch will not execute, because out of 2 catch block, 1 catch block will execute. So in all the 3 cases, if there is an error, 1 catch block will be executed. Okay. So this is the program. And wherever comments are there, if we read the comments, we will understand better. Okay. See here, first comment. If no command line arguments are present, the following statement will generate a division by 0 error. That means a value will be 0, so we will get an error. Okay. Then, if one command line argument is used, then divide by 0 exception will be generated by the following code. That means a value will be 1, a equals to 1, a equal to a by a minus a equal to 1 by 1 minus 1, 1 by 0 is division by 0. If 2 command lines arguments are used, then a value will be 2. So if a value is 2, so division by 0 error we will not get it. So these statements are executed. In these statements we get error related to array. Okay. We can look at these diagrams. So if you come across any doubts, you can ask. See, in this program, what I have done is, like I have written 1 try statement, 2 catch statements. Okay, it is not a nested try. It is not a try within try. 1 try statement. For that, I have written 2 catch statements. Okay. Now I have made it as a comment. Second catch statement I have made it as a comment, because if I remove the comment, we'll get an error. You just observe. See, immediately when I remove the catch statement and when I save the program, you will get error. So you just observe. So red mark is there here. You see exception. You can understand this error. Exception, arithmetic exception has already been caught. See, sometimes what happens when we look at the error messages, just we have to understand the theoretical concept behind that. Arithmetic exception has already been caught means arithmetic exception is a superclass of exception class. Arithmetic exception is a superclass of exception class. Whenever we use a superclass name first, afterwards if we use subclass name, superclass what it will do is like superclass will catch all the exceptions of subclasses. Superclass will catch all the exceptions of subclasses. So here exception is the superclass. Arithmetic exception is the subclass. So exception will catch the errors of exception class plus arithmetic exception, both. It will catch the errors of superclass plus subclass. So only they're saying the error message arithmetic exception has already been caught. Already been caught means by whom? By exception class. So only what we have to do. So in order to solve this error, what we have to do, either we have to comment these lines, okay, or else what we can do is like what we have to do, we have to bring this catch statement first, like this. So in this case also we can solve the error. So in this case what happens? No error, because I used subclass first then superclass. So this is possible. First subclass name you should use in the catch statement, then in the next catch statement you can use the superclass name. So this is possible, you will not get any error. Okay. Okay, now I will try to execute the next program, that is let's try in command prompt. So just I will open the command prompt, just wait for a few seconds.